Welcome back to a new video, my friend. The last video I ended with words that we are going to discuss next time. Well, I checked the time myself and I saw that today is May 18th. Now, why is that important? If you remember back on April 18th, I made a video called Let's Start a Project. In this video, I suggested that we all start a project for 1 month, that we do something which will help us come closer to our long-term goals. I decided to start reading a book about financial education, and I did. And here's the video on it. Well, one of the videos. Because I do not want to stretch out the videos too long, because I heard from a few of you guys that you don't really have the time to watch 20 minutes or more or other stuff to do, which is for me totally understandable. So that's why I will try to keep the videos at, let's say, 10 minutes, something around that. And yeah, with that being said, let us start. Let us just begin. The book I read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, which was published first in 1997. So that book is basically older than me. But I do think that it's still helpful for everyone. So it does not get out of time or whatever, or it's not old knowledge, it's still relevant. I will guarantee you that you will profit from reading it. So what I'm going to do is I will talk about the different sections in this book, or they are rather called lessons. And I think I will just start with the introduction today, because there he really explains what this is all about. So the main point is that there's a difference in the way people think. There's a difference between how the rich person thinks and how the poor person thinks. And he narrates all of this by using his own example. So he said, like, he has a rich dad and a poor dad. His rich dad would be his friend's father, his friend Mike, whom he named there. It's like his father who's the rich dad, and his poor dad would be his own physical father. So, and he says in the introduction that even though there are like difference between rich and poor, both have to start somewhere. And it all comes down to your mindset. He names certain examples that, for example, the poor person would say, stay in school, study hard, learn hard, get good grades, find a good job. That's what the poor person says. So he became really intrigued on what the rich people think, and that's why he started actually working for Mike's father, with Mike together. And what he also says is very interesting. He says here, money is not taught in schools. Schools focus on scholastic and professional skills, but not on financial skills. This explains how smart bankers, doctors, and accountants who earned excellent grades may struggle financially all of their lives. And if you really think about this, in school they never taught you anything. They did not teach you how to do your taxes. They do not teach you how money works, even in economics class. I mean, obviously I can't speak for all schools around the world, but I've never heard from one school doing so, or from one school system doing so. And here is another example. One example he gives is the habit of saying, I can't afford it. And the other person would say, how can I afford it? One is a statement and one is a question. One lets you off the hook and the other forces you to think. So his rich dad would explain that by automatically saying the words, I can't afford it, your brain stops working. But if you say, how can I afford it? You start to think. And he obviously does not mean that you should buy everything you want, but it's all about the mindset. I can't stress this enough. He can't stress this enough as well. And his rich dad believed that saying, "I can't afford it," was a sign of mental laziness. Let that sink in. Mental laziness. I mean, we think all day, right? But we would never imagine to be lazy in our mind, do we? I never heard that expression. Mental laziness. If you, the more you think about it, the more it makes sense, I think. He goes on. Money is one form of power, but what is more powerful is financial education. Money comes and goes, but if you have the education about how money works, you gain power over it, and it can begin building wealth. And I think that's the goal for most of us, right? To be financially independent at one point, and to not work 9 to 5 for 40 plus years, whatever. So, well, the way the book works is like, he explains what him and Mike were doing at the age of 9, and how slowly but surely the rich dad, Mike's father, would teach them on how money works. And since he was 9 years old, the lessons were first rather simple, or kept simple. Alright, so this book has, 6 lessons. And I would say that we talk about the first lesson in the next video. The first lesson is called "The Rich Don't Work for Money." The rich don't work for money. Again, just think about it. Keep it in your mind, and really think what this could mean. Now, let's get back to the part about the project. So I started reading this book as part of as a project for my long-term goal, to come closer to my long-term goal. And I can definitely recommend this book to you as your project, perhaps. So if you do want to have something to do, something beneficial to do, then just read the book. That's my suggestion. I can tell you right now, my next personal project would be to start learning a new language, because those are kind of soft skills that you will always need. And especially if you stick to it, if you really work for it, it can be quite beneficial, of course. Because it never hurts to know more languages, right? So, as I said, tomorrow, I don't know whether, perhaps tomorrow or on Saturday, I will make the next video on lesson number 1. I hope that this video was kind of helpful, and we will discuss more in the next video. See you then.